Campsites and horribly disfigured psychopathic killers go together like peanut butter and a hamburger. They're remarkable on their own, but when you smash them together, it's just next level stuff. Which brings us to 1981's The Burning, which is also something a lot of my good friends felt in their 20s. So let's talk about it. The movie, not them burning. Virgin territory today, folks. This is going into the first watch, and I had no idea that it was set at a camp. But the second that I saw that it was, I got really hyped for it because we're at Camp Blackfoot, and we see a group of teens making a pact to play a prank on somebody there that they're not very fond of, somebody named Cropsey. Now, I heard that name, and I thought, that's a killer's name. Ultimately, though, the joke ends up with the guy on fire, and boy, does this guy burn. He winds up in the hospital, several skin grafts, none of them take. He's in really bad shape. So bad, in fact, that there's an orderly there that uses this guy to scare all the new hires at the hospital. Doesn't one too many times, though, when we see Cropsey's really charred, nasty, mangled, burnt-up arm reach out from the hospital bed and grab a hold of this guy. Scares the shit out of him. Once our good buddy Cropsey gets released from the hospital, he does what any red-blooded American man would do, and he seeks out the comforts of a woman. Now, of course, she's a hooker, and she's in a seedy part of town, but beggars can't be choosers. He ends up following back to her place, and the second that she sees his face, she loses it, which prompts him to kill her. Now, I don't know if he's planning to kill her the whole time, or if her negative reaction to his new look caused him to snap, but she's dead nonetheless. Very first victim of this movie. Then we wind up at Camp Stonewater, and I'm not really sure where this is in approximation to Camp Blackfoot. I don't know if they're rivals. I don't know if they got beef. But it's got the look and feel with all the young horny kids running around. And George Costanza is here with a luscious head of hair. If we get Elaine in a bikini, forget about it. We get to a baseball game that they're playing, and of course the ball winds up finding its way into the woods. And there is an attractive young lady that goes to find the ball, and she narrowly avoids the killer with a set of garden shears coming towards her. Garden shears. Now, I thought it was creepy when Brutus Beefcake used to take these things and come down to the ring with them, and now we have a deranged killer toting a pair around. It's going to be that kind of movie, I guess, but hey, I'm here for it. We get a shower scene because you have to have shower scenes in these sorts of movies. You just have to. And everything with the girl looked like she was about to meet her demise, but it wound up just being, we got a scream from her, a really good blood-curdling scream, but it's just because there was a guy looking in on her when she was sans clothing. Now, this peeper is obviously a camper there, and he's been getting bullied by a guy named Glazer, who apparently is interested in this girl that's in the shower, or the girl in the shower may be interested in Glazer. I have no idea, but Glazer is basically the bully in the camp. And when I saw the peeper, and he looks the part, but when I saw him, I thought, is this guy dangerous? Could this guy be involved with some of the murders down the road here in this film? Just a thought that crossed my mind. He absolutely looks the part. But the rest of the guys are a really good and entertaining group. And if you watch 80s films, you're going to recognize quite a few of them. Now, when night falls on the camp, everything is set up to where the killer looks like he's going to claim at least a couple of victims. You know, we get the peeper, actually, he winds up seeing a burnt up face in a window. He swears up and down he's seen it. Nobody else believes him. There's a bird that flies out of a shed that's actually a really good jump scare here. Nothing happens, though. This night goes by without incident for the most part, and that was something I could really get with because it kept you anxious the entire time you watched it, and it kind of worked for this movie. It was refreshing because any other slasher movie, somebody's getting something cut off at least the very first night you're there. Now, the campfire scene where they're telling the story of Cropsey was really good. You know, we won't get into what it's like or what it looked like or what it was suggested to be completely copied from. We'll talk about that later. But it's one of the better campfire scenes I've seen in horror because there was a really nice jump scare that came after it. I thought they did a really nice job with that setup there. And it told you a little bit more about Cropsey. Now, of course, with the shower scene, you have a skinny dipping scene. It's almost in the manual. And the girl that is out there with this guy, she's kind of a mess, man. She is all over the place with mixed reactions. One minute she's all over this guy. The next minute she's bipolar, super indecisive. I have no idea what's going on, but the dude is pissed. She winds up storming off, but she meets the business end of that set of garden shears. And the guy in charge the next morning notices she's gone, and then he takes notice of the fact that all the canoes are gone as well. So they're essentially all on this island, trapped. And they don't know yet that there's a killer running around. I thought it was really cool how they built a really nifty makeshift raft to get about half a dozen kids from the island back towards the camp so they could bring over some more canoes and get everybody back over. Thought it was really, really cool. Now, the rest of the kids sit carefree on the island because they don't know about the killer just yet. And the kids on the raft, they see a canoe in the water. They approach it with glee, thinking they've got another way to get some more kids back. And boom! That killer popped up, and with those garden shears, he aced all 6 of those kids on that raft. Damn, son. He cut a dude's fingers off even. What the hell? Just when you're starting to think all the horror movie stereotypes are out the window, we do get that couple that sneaks off to go deeper into the woods to get to know each other just a little bit better. And they do. And it's quick. And the guy moseys off to get some matches to build a fire. And what you think happens ends up happening. The raft then comes back to the island, piled with bodies and body parts. And it feels unique, at least it felt unique to me, that we're this deep into the movie. We've got so many survivors, and now they all know that somebody's out there killing folks. Because that's a hell of a big group to be able to make your final stand with. But of course, we've got to separate and split up, and most of those kids wind up getting on that raft and going back over to the camp to call the cops and try to get help. Now, all that's left on the island with our killer Cropsey is the Peeper and Todd, which I believe he's the lead counselor on this. And I can't remember, it made it seem like he was around for the prank that caused Cropsey to be burnt up. I don't know if that was ever confirmed or not, though. Now, the last scene, I'm just going to tell you this. The last scene took forever, and I was invested in this movie, and I almost turned it off because it's the Peeper walking for 10 minutes, just taking turns and walking and walking and walking, and then he gets taken, and then it's Todd walking and walking and walking, and I swear to God, it really lost at least a point or two from me with just the way they paced the end of that movie, because the end, the climax, that's when things are supposed to ramp up. It's supposed to speed up. That's when we get to things faster. That didn't happen here, and it really irritated me. Now, Cropsey winds up showing up, meets a brutal end. I think he got shears in the back of his neck. I think he had an axe hanging out of his head, and they set this dude on fire again. Jesus, give the guy a break with the fire. Great updated campfire story closes out the movie by a new group of kids, and scene. 6.5 out of 10 for me. It was really in that 7.5 range. I thought this was a very good, and I'm a sucker for slasher movies. I mean, you put somebody out at a campsite with a guy who's got some issues with playing well with others, and he likes sharp weapons, and just do that, and you have my money. Every single time you put that on screen, you have as much of my money as I can afford to part with that month. But this, they really let it fall apart in the end. Still a really strong slasher flick. I mean, the cast was fun. We see a lot of names here that we would see for decades past this point. You know, I think Holly Hunter was in there. But the movie got heavy blowback, deservedly so, for all the things it lifted from Friday the 13th. And maybe that's why I never saw it. Maybe the Friday the 13th cheap clone talk that was out there affected my decision to never sit down with this one. But it's got standalone value as a one-off. I thought it was a good movie. It's better than average first watch. And I can almost guarantee that I'll come back and watch it at least once more. Probably. That's the definition of aging gracefully. So this one is going to age just a little gracefully. And we've reached the end of our journey. This is Aging Gracefully. I am Matthew Essex. Feel free to subscribe to this channel. Take the next journey with us the next time around. We try to do this twice a week. I'll try to throw in a couple ranking shows there. I think I'm going to talk the kiddo into getting on here when Dexter Resurrection starts up. I'm really looking forward to that. Until next time, see you on the other side.